Oh gosh. Um, okay, so I just got trimmed my beard a little bit. Uh, that way, it's a little easier for me to sleep and travel, and it's really hot outside. So you can see, got my hair in a ponytail, and this video uh, is more of a desperation video that I'm making. Mikayla, I'm in this hotel room in Lawrence, Kansas. This video is dedicated in towards you and anyone that you are affiliated as a family member or very extremely close, like a family member. I'm in Lawrence, Kansas. I just got back from Poland, and I don't know if you're following of anything that I'm doing or what your life is like. Um, but I'm making this video to hopefully reach out to you. If there is anything in God's ability and name or efforts to reach out to you, please, if there's anything you can do to help me in the circumstances that I'm in with me trying to get my freedom from these electronic devices and being tracked down. I cannot express enough the amount of horror and fear and dysfunction that this has caused in so much of my normal life. I don't know what normal is anymore because there's so many people continuously always attacking or bashing me in the public eye and in such hateful ways, and there's no law enforcement wanting to do anything about it. There has been so many things that has happened. Like I explained to you, you were in Lawrence, Kansas, and I didn't know that you were, I saw you at the Magic Time Machine. But I got back from Poland from the death camps. And that was something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, natural life. And before I got there, I was in Disneyland. I went to Disney World for a token, small token to our sister that passed away with Down syndrome. I find it very disturbing that there is no ceremony, memorial of any kind, that this little girl just died, and because of the dysfunctions that were going on in my mother's life and mine, immediate family, my mom, Julie and Frankie, my father who raised me. It's a very scary, traumatizing story to deal with this because it's just being unveiled and unraveled about this little girl's death, which would have made it to you, your half sister, because to my understanding, this little girl was our same, we carry the same biological father, and my mother had another kid, and this little girl, for the first 7 or 8 years, I have no idea where this girl lived, why she showed up. I don't know any of the details, but I have made so many videos. I hope that you can get an idea. I'm wearing this Daddy's Girl t-shirt, and the reason I wore this t-shirt is for many different reasons. But one of the reasons that I wore this shirt was because I know that my biological father cried for me, and there was a very high level of sense of emotion and connection. It's something that I don't like describing too much because I'm being observed, and every time that I say something that is not of the like of what these people want in the homosexual rise of what they want, because my father who raised me was gay, they retaliate against me. But here's a photo of this. This is me, Mickey Mouse, at Walt Disney World, and you can see I have a little rainbow colored glamour bag of goodies. So anyway, I went there to give this small little girl a token of the princess that she was. It's very difficult for me to be able to go through life dealing with how this issue was dealt with, how this little girl's life was dealt with in my family. I couldn't express this enough more, that this, in our environment, in my mother's relationship and everything, was so minimal to the communication of what that little girl was. is that she pretty much just died and went into a trash can and it was just forgotten and thrown away. I don't understand the details so much because they weren't described to me and how my mother dealt with this. I still don't know. Her name is either Miranda or Marissa, but I woke up every single day, coming home every day from school as we were going to school together. It's something that is very dear to me, that I remember that I would always, she would get on the bus and I would start walking towards school every single day, and I would come home, and within 30 minutes of me coming home to 40 minutes, she would be arriving on her school bus, and I would see her get off the school bus as Ivan, or the mother would, Lupe, Ivan's mother, or she was a transgender, but went there and was picking up the child and bringing the child into the house. I don't know how much of these videos you can see about everything that's going on, but I did a little token because, I'm 40 years old now. Now, I can never express the evil and the horrors of dragging the topic of what these people did to my work environments, that they did to places I've lived, and such a retaliation. I don't know if I've ever heard of an innocent person being drugged around in a funny topic, knowing that it was getting underneath my skin to piss me off and to really just give you all the bad emotions and thoughts that someone is having a joyride with this little girl's life, because she did nothing to these people and she was born into it and lived 14 years on this earth. It is something that, for those that believe in God, it is very hard to believe in God when you see something like that and know that it was really somebody else's sort of humor of glory for an exchange of credit for something else, and they were never there or cared. The fact that they weren't there and the fact that how it was used says it's enough in itself. Mikayla, but I am making this video reaching out to you. I hope, please, if there's anything you can do to contact me, anything you can reach out to help me, I would love for you to be able to communicate with me, for you to help me in any kind of way. And before I go any further, I am 100% very respectful and very kind and understanding if you choose to not communicate with me of any kind, because you've moved on in your life and you have, obviously, I'm 40 years old, you're 35. Whatever you've done in your life, whatever kids, marriage, whatever those experiences, you have had a full adult life. If you choose, because you don't want to be a part of any existence of my life, even though we share the same father, we went to good elementary, I respect that. I will leave you in peace to live the rest of your journey to wherever you choose and your heart desires. I won't be the one that tells you you can't go to school and I don't think you should do this and that. Whatever you choose and that's what you want, I have no right to say anything else different, because we weren't really a part of each other's lives. But you are my sister, and I hope that the sister that we lost, I could tell you stories and I could tell you things, and much of it is not very good, but I can say that this person had some sort of effect possibly in your life, and our biological father, because I remember my biological father, I don't know how well you were connected with him, shed some tears over her. Our biological father wanted to be a part of my life. But unfortunately, in the circumstances that I was in, he was sort of not allowed to be intervening in my life because of my father that was raising me, because he wanted a family for himself, and my mother was in a position where she had to be obedient to the man that was paying the money and bills. So I say this in desperation. I'm very scared of my life. I'm very scared of the fact that I'm going to be murdered. I'm going to be incarcerated for a long time or for the rest of my life, that someone is going to set me up. I feel in the sense that I won't be alive for a very retirement of 67. God, I hope to make it 60, 70 without tragic health conditions. But there's so many people that are bashing me and hating me. I'm very scared. You don't understand that even when I'm doing dangerous things or going to the movie theater or going and having a drink, you don't know the fear, like what's going inside me. I can't express enough because these electronic devices have been beating me half to death. Please, Mikayla, if you can free me from these electronic devices, whether it's contacting a lawyer, whether it's contacting or writing letters to the president, whether it's communicating with me, or if there's anything that you can do to give me my freedom, please, I beg to you, Mikayla. I'm not a bad person. I hope that a lot of the videos that you've seen has not put a bad image in your mind of who I am, and you get a clarity of much of what's going on. But I hope to God that you're able to listen to this video, and I beg you, if there's anything that you can do, I'd love to be able to hear stories about your life, my biological father, what your life was, during this entire time, and your mother's. Your mother interacted, and I remember seeing you and your mother at Albertsons, and I saw your mother intervening over at a church where they were harassing and threatening her one day. But I can't express this enough that I'd like to be able to tell you, I hope my life matters to you. I don't know if I were to die, I would be as worthless to you as that little girl that you didn't ever get to meet or know of, or I could be less of a value to you than she was. It's a very disturbing thing to see this little girl in a princess crown in the way that I saw it. And I never made fun of it. It's something that seems like out of a ghost story, horror story, a curse story, something that a God story. Because this girl cried in front of me, and it was hard because you don't understand that I'm not allowed to express myself because of the electronic devices and the threats and so much abuse. I'm not crazy. I can hopefully tell you one day more stories, but I'm here to make this video. Please, I am not crazy, Mikayla. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not making any of this up. These electronic devices, there's somewhere around 6 to 7 at least different electronic devices that do different things to my physical body, that make me shit, that make muscle tissue twitch all of a sudden. They shoot into my hands, making my fingers move like I'm doing this, like going like this, like saying, and I'll have my hand on a desk and they'll shoot the muscles that actually make my hand do this. And they're toying with me by doing this, inseminating my conscious mind to what I need to do. Currently, right now, they are in a riot. To my understanding, I've gone to the doctor and they told me that I'm not HIV positive. I've gotten tested 5 or 6 times. But I have been led to believe in such harassment going to Washington, D.C., I'm not being informed of my own health conditions. So, at this point in my life right now, they are trying to sell me for sex, and they're trying to sell me to a marriage that I don't ever want to be a part of. Because the Black African community is filled with HIV in like Africa and whatnot. there's a lot of people getting on the bus, there's a lot of people getting into the shelters, and they want to sell me for sex. They want to sell me and pawn me off to something that I have no desires to be with black girls. I don't like being in a relationship with black girls. I would never do it again. I have in the past, and I did, and I wouldn't have done that had I not been enclosed and forced into that sort of circumstances in life. I would have never done anything like that. But I have no attraction, sexual attraction toward black girls. I'm naturally attracted to Caucasian white girls, even some Mexican girls, and even some Asian girls, but primarily, as you know, the tattoos and just pearl, you know, pale skin, you know, and blue eyes, green eyes, white girls, you know, very porcelain, beautiful porcelain Caucasian girls, you know, and, you know, I know that I was raped by this transgender many years ago, and it's never left me, and I don't know what credit this human being has anymore for their own brain function or what their opinion of me to this day, or what it was when I was around this person. But this person, Patricia Cadena, who is in this photo, as you can see in this photo, that's what that individual looks like. See that a little bit more clear. And for me is to say anything about that, there was a multiple times when I was in this car with this individual, and I spoke to them over the phone. And I spoke to when I was driving in the car, and even eating at a dinner table, that this person, before I even brought it up to them, told me, he said that I can tell by looking at you, you're attracted to white girls, like preppy, pretty white girls. And she said, this transgender who said that you're supposed to be with a white girl. Like, you're supposed to, like, this person was sitting next to me and was telling me, you're supposed to be with a white girl, with a pretty white girl. And it was weird because by this time I was questioning this person's identity. And when this person said this, I don't know how you give credibility or think of what someone who's had a sex change, I don't know what their brain function of credibility is, but this person was almost kind of talking like they were a psychic or something. In the sense, when I was listening to them, that they were saying that I was supposed to be with a white girl. Like, this person was, it was weird. It was a kind of weird, because at this point I'm questioning whether it's possible it's transgender, and it's so far beyond anything that my mind isn't really grasping to it. Like, I'm sort of just fumbling through it. But anyway, of all the horrible things that have happened, I am desperately making this video because they know that I'm infected with HIV, and I don't like the fact that they're trying to sell me for sex to a black person and use Christianity to justify that. Now, if you, whatever your life is and whatever has become of your life, I really don't, I'm not here to tell you what color you're supposed to get, and I'm not going to. It's a little too late for any of that. But I like to be able to say that, I'm not just sitting there trying to be racist, but these people are very racist with me, prejudiced like you wouldn't believe, like there's no tomorrow of life. And the whites and the prejudice want to sell me off, and they condition me using their weapons and beating me and over and over and over again, so that I begin to believe, accept, and understand, and only hope for. And they do these very specific conditioning techniques as they watch my facial expressions when they bring black girls around me. And if I don't want to do what they want, and I show expressions of rejection, they show somebody else of aggression, so that I you know, that I better show appreciation, I better show, you better like that. Like, they're trying to sell me for sex, and that's what they're doing, and milking me, and like I'm a product to whatever it is. So I wanted to make this video and make this very clear to you that hopefully this skims through a few different topics that touch base with you. But I hope if you can have your mother contact with me. I built that ship that I had built, you know, that I had purchased and sent to my mother with the, you know, with the personal jewelry box and the Da Vinci lockbox with the hair lock and a little note. And I did that for you and your mother, and that goes to you and your mother. But I'm asking you to please contact me. I'm begging you for my life. I'm begging you to please help me. I'm not crazy. Please listen to me. I hope I don't leave and die out of this world knowing I never got to know who you were while I'm still healthy, while I can still talk, while I can still somewhat think. I'd like to be able to know what your story is. Now, I'm not asking you to do more than that, because I have to respect the fact that you have your own life, and I don't know what that whatever was. But if you choose to not want to be a part, you can express that more than freely. I won't hate you for it, and I will more than gladly honor your wishes and respect your boundaries. But I am reaching out because I'm not sure what you know of me and what you've been told. But please, if you can, Mikayla, reach out. I need my freedom. I love my freedom. I have been running all across the United States to Cancun, Mexico. I just got back from Poland. I skipped a flight when I was in Iceland because I knew that people were following me to deter them, to get them away from me. I was being harassed nonstop in Iceland. I cannot, you know, rate as Iceland, Reykjavik. So I really wanted to tell you very, very importantly that my dreams of life has always been to be out of the entertainment business, get into the medical field, or at least get into, I wanted to learn a new skill trade. I wanted to also go to school to be completely out. I don't want to be forced to DJ. I don't want to do completely out of the music field. But I say this video in desperation because when I was in Poland, Mikayla, this is going to be one of the most disturbing things, one of the most disturbing things I'm ever going to tell you, besides our sister that passed away. I was in a room in a gas chamber where they killed tens of thousands of people in gas chambers. Killed many, many, many people. There's claw marks on the walls and whatnot. Is the idea that when I was at this Auschwitz camp, Birkenau, where 1 million were murdered and tortured and suffered as the most bestial ways and honored as a trophy and glory for prejudice and for religious beliefs and whatnot, and for whatever reasons that all these people were killed and murdered. As I was walking into these gas chambers, there was a riot from the entire time that I was taking this tour, especially before I walked into the gas chambers, when I was inside and walked out. There were at least a dozen people, if not more, I'd say about 24 people. It was about 12 front and back, maybe a little more than that, that were in a riot, running in circles around the place like they were wanting to kill me and torture me. And while I was videoing and taking pictures in there, they were running in there to almost want to fight me and almost want to get violent. And their expressions were very like, kill him, like, get him, you fucking piece of shit. I mean, I'm not kidding you. In this Holocaust camp, that this is what they were doing to me. Had followed me all the way to the United States, to the LGBT community and strictly the transgenders that were coming after me. The gays, it was only gays and transgenders. They had someone playing him as Richard Martinez that was in the GED class, whose brother kicked in my door many years ago when my mother was standing in front of the door, and so on. These people were literally in a crusade with a crucifix, like in a rage against me. I mean, they were crazy, like people from medieval times wore crucifixes and killed people all the time. So I wanted to say this. I will never forget that. There was people coming in, and there is a crematory where they put dead bodies in. God knows how many tens of thousands of people that they incinerated and killed. Was all this hectic behavior was happening in there, and they were coming in and out. And as I'm walking out, they were in a rage to control me and be very persecuting against me. I got up and left. But I hope that, this is a very serious situation. I went there, one of the reasons I went there, to show you how serious, not just you, but the audience of my freedom that can help me, is how serious I am and truthful about these electronic devices and how bad they are, and how they've stripped me from any existence of a normal life that I had ever deserved, that I should have deserved. I'm not a bad person. You don't understand the living torment that I have a problem now where I can't express myself because I have gone through these electronic devices for so long, and they've been using them for so long that I've now just become adapted, that I don't think my life anything other than with them in my life to make me like their dog. I'm not kidding you that I have run out 2,000 feet into the sky, mountains, trying to escape, getting flown out of helicopters, into oceans. I ran into Mexico, going from city to city on a fleeing adventure to try to get away from the electronic devices, and where a cartel can have me murdered. I've seen people get, shootouts with shotguns in the middle of a city, and I had no idea that I'm walking into the middle of a shotgun shootout, or where I'm walking in environments where people are telling me they found 3 decapitated human heads on a fucking curb. I'm very scared that I can be murdered one day if I go to Mexico or maybe somewhere else, and they're gonna plat it out. I'm not kidding. That I have gone to London in desperations, England, I skipped a flight in Iceland. I have tried to remain low key in different cities. Nothing's working. Please, if you can, I beg you, I don't want to be murdered. These people are going to plan something even worse, and they're not going to ever stop. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be stubborn. Nothing is ever going to stop the situation until these people don't have my GPS location and they're not able to track me down anymore, where I can walk as a free man. And I don't know who's involved. I don't know what contractual agreements is, how much the President of the United States is ordered this, to how much someone has taken it into their own hands to take control over my life like a slave. No more different than a slave. And they're using very specific situations and tactics to confine me and control me, because the police department will not get involved. You don't understand the terror it is to have a murder attempt happen to me when I was walking up to my mother's front doorstep covered in blood, have a knife pulled up to my throat, being beaten at a cemetery, to people on the planes literally shooting me with electronic devices, people shouting out things. I was at the airport before I went to Poland when I was in Burlington, Vermont, and there was these 3 transgenders that were in line that were screaming at me, telling me that I'm there to take advantage of my mother, and that she's stupid and she doesn't know, and you're just going to steal her money, and that they were behaving and shouting this out in flat out words, and they were also acting out and taunting me in that situation, like dropping something on the ground and putting money in their wallet or purse as they're looking at me. Says, "You're a thief. Oh, I don't remember anything, huh? Your mother doesn't, huh?" And they were yelling this out in front of me, in front of all these people, and they're targeting my mother. Please, please, Mikayla, if there's anything you can do, please help me. Please reach out to me. You know my email address, phone numbers. Contact my mother. Contact Julian. Contacts anyone that can reach out. Please contact me in any way. I would love my freedom. I don't know why you intervened at all in my life, how much you know of me. But I like to be able to interact and sit down and talk what life is like, and while I'm healthy and it's not too late. But I'd rather at least, I think I do deserve, and I do believe that it is a token that you should as well, to sit down and talk about a little girl that wore the princess outfit, or wore a princess dress and a princess crown, that was our sister, and you're my sister. We carry the same biological father, and I have a few stories to share about my biological father and my mother, that you should at least sit down with me for a few hours to sit down and just talk. And whatever that situation is, if you would like for it to continue, then that would be very family beautiful. But if not, at least I was granted that token for a moment. And I wish you well in your journey. So, but in this situation, like I said, I am hoping that you can reach out to me. I feel like a slave. I feel so beaten mentally and physically. I can't express enough that they're carrying this weapon and this gun of electronic devices to all these different places I'm going. They watch me and are recording me on camera and listening to everything I'm doing 24 hours of 7 days a week, nonstop, and I am aware of that. Have always tried to prevent that. So I hope that this video reaches out to you. Please don't let it be too late. I don't ever plan to go into a hospital one day and be told really bad news, and then I won't be asking for you there. I promise you I will leave you in peace. I won't bring tragedy, something like that. I've been in those circumstances before, and I will respect your wishes as God would like. But I would love to be able to, before anything, to be healthy and, get to know who you are and what you have to say. Most important, what you have to say in person to me, what your opinions are. So, I hope my life matters to you, because I think your life matters to me tremendously. But I hope I wasn't just garbage. I love that little girl. I know that it felt like our sister who wore this princess crown. It's hard to sometimes sort of express, because I never had a sister, and I never had a sister that was, let alone the full blood of me. And she was looking at me, she was crying. And she was smiling, and she was happy. And I remember she was looking, and I know, and before I finish this conversation, I guess I'll go into it more later, everyone is stripping everything from this little girl. Her life, what it meant, and who these tokens are going to be going to. None of it, nothing, zero, should ever in any entity, existence, spirituality belongs to Sarah and Ken Cooper and the Cooper family. But this is exactly what the prejudiced people are doing and what these LBG and transgenders are doing. And they're making out that any spiritual phenomenon that could have happened was Ken Cooper's likeliness of blonde hair, blue eyes, and a white spirit. And that wasn't the case, because there were some really sketchy things that I had experienced with this, being around this girl a few times. Numbers of times on the stage playing Ninja Turtles. Watching that little girl in a princess dress and crown throwing up was something that because I saw this a number of times, and it was very difficult, because I remember her French socks that she had, her shoes. It was something that it was hard to express, to know that I would watch this girl and she would splat vomit on the ground and walk a little bit more further, and we're on the front porch and we made the best. And I don't know, because I really feel the way that things did get handled was like she just got thrown into a garbage can and just forgotten with very little credit. This is a very disturbing story. I don't like that. I don't like the idea how people have mutilated this little girl's life for a very long time, when instead of just leaving it alone to that extent, that don't bring it up around me. I've made dozens of videos about it, and those that need to hear about it will, but not to be bringing it up for a joyride, and that's exactly what they did. So I hope these little tokens, and I believe in God, even though I was watching the horrors of the Holocaust and what they were doing. I believe a higher creator of God, and I hope that this little girl can bring me some hope in life. Maybe the pearls of the ocean aren't lost yet forever for me, to finally find a partner, girlfriend, marriage, whatever's left of me at this old man. I'm 40 years old in a couple of months, and that's going to be a really hard one, because it's finally, the 40 years old is the big one that says, I'm not a young guy anymore. I'm really not. That's it for me. Never know. My dad took care of me, married young. Maybe married a young woman. He was really old. Maybe I'll get to do the same thing maybe one day. But I just like to say that I hope you don't lose faith in me. I hope you believe in me. I hope you look at me as your brother. I hope you wish the best upon me just as I wish the best upon you. I hope that you respect me. I hope that you love me. And I hope that you understand the circumstances better than many of these videos have been able to express, and I have been able to conversate. I hope I get to meet your family, your mother, and talk to her, and introduce you to my mother, tell you the other stories, and make the best of it. I hope my life's not trash and garbage. I hope you see a spiritual connection in existence, and that to not allow others to intervene and make that what they want that to be. Because that is exactly what they're doing, and they're exchanging her entity with her existence and tokens and anything for a black girl. And I'm not trying to play racist or anything, but that's exactly the game. It's a very nasty game. I'm not trying to be nasty, but this is exactly what they're doing. And they're sort of just pawning me off. And I hope you have something for me before, it is too late. Life passed by pretty fast. It's been 4 years since the first time I saw you when I was 35, right before I got on disability at the Magic Time Machine, and I have no earthly idea why you would have ever had any interest or participate in my life. I just don't know why. I hope you value my life, but I have the sensation that sometimes, from everything that I witnessed and seen, behavior and everything, maybe I'm just not just trash and nothing is just like that little girl was to a lot of people. But hopefully the cycle doesn't get repeated onto me. Please help me. Please reach out with lawyers. Please reach out to the police. The correct law enforcement. Very little you can trust. Please understand how many people are coming at me nonstop. I'm very scared of my life. I feel constantly looking over my shoulder, constantly waiting for, pretending like sometimes I'm enjoying myself when I'm not. I can't express myself enough that sometimes it looks like I'm enjoying. I don't, because they're using so many electronic devices to finally put me pain, ones that make my muscles twitch and make me smile, ones that shoot my eyeball, another ones that shoot my eardrums, another one pulsates my heart, another one shoots my hands telling me no, what I can and cannot have. And they send people around me to tell me what I can and cannot have. They constantly, the horror is you're not going to be able to handle or understand the magnitude of what this feels like and how it is for me to function as a human being. I want my freedom. Please let me get my freedom. Please, I want to be a human to know what it is. I don't know how my own bowel system works. And possibly over 7 to 8 years to 10 years, close to, I'd say about 8 or 9 years, that I have no idea how my own bowel system works, because they make me shit on command every day, every morning, when they say urinate, when they say diarrhea, you name it, every second of every day. Please don't allow them to throw any more garbage, torment. Please let me live freedom from these people and freedom of religion, of with the persecution of with their religious beliefs and how persecuting it is to me. For the freedom of these electronic devices, I think of this whole sickness of HIV and plastic anemia, I think that there's probably something that would probably scare me so much more than anything of a disease than to find out that I don't have HIV, and these electronic devices have controlled that much of my life for the last 10 years. That I'm not HIV positive, and it's for a different reason. So to find out what truly, I think I'd have a massive stroke, a massive brain tumor if I were to find out I wasn't HIV positive and this is what these people were doing. I beg you, please, please, and please, don't forget about me. I'm a human being, let alone your brother. I carry the same name as your father. You know, Hector. And I remember our father's tears. Life is short. Tell me stories, talk to me. I hope you value my life. Before it's too late, we're still young. I hope I'm just not to your existence just some other little story of a girl a person of her kind that just go into a trash can just after it's over. I'm hoping for your response calls someday. I don't know if I'll be going back to Dallas. I might. I don't know where I'll be going next. But for now, I'm in Lawrence, Kansas. Plan to stay here for at least a number of months.